Okay, so you're here with us because you want to get ahead of the curve, right? Like you want to know what technologies are going to be shaping the future. And honestly, so do we.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, there's so much information out there. It's tough to cut through the noise, you know?
Exactly. That's why we're doing this deep dive.
Right.
We've gone through a ton of articles, expert opinions, all that to get to the core of what's actually important.
The stuff that's really going to make a difference.
Yeah. Think about it. Like, remember when smartphones were this crazy futuristic idea and now we can't live without them?
Oh, absolutely. It's insane how quickly things change.
Exactly. So, what's next? What are the game changers on the horizon right now?
Well, let's dive into one that I think is particularly mind-blowing. Brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs.
BCIs, yeah?
This is about connecting our brains directly to the digital world.
Whoa, that's some next level stuff.
It is, it is. And a lot of this is happening in the field of
The
neurotechnology.
neurotechnology.
Yeah, and one of the leading figures in this space is Elon Musk and his company Neuralink.
Oh, I've heard of Neuralink. They're doing some pretty wild things, right?
They are. They're developing implantable devices that could essentially allow our brains to communicate directly with computers.
Okay, so like controlling a computer with your mind, that's like straight out of science fiction.
It sounds like it,
Yeah.
right? But it's getting closer to reality.
Wow. So, what are the implications of this? Like, how could this change how we interact with tech?
Well, I think the potential applications are vast. It's not just about controlling computers with our minds.
Oh, okay, so what else?
Think about restoring lost sensory functions, for example.
Yeah.
There's research exploring how BCIs could help people regain their sense of touch or even sight. Imagine prosthetic limbs controlled by thought rather than just muscle movements.
That's incredible, like a true integration between human and machines.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've talked about this very intimate connection between brain and machine. Now let's zoom out a bit and talk about something we're starting to see more and more in the real world. Self-driving cars.
Oh, yeah. Autonomous vehicles are definitely moving from science fiction to reality.
They are, but to really appreciate the impact, I think we need to understand the technology behind them.
You're absolutely right. Companies like Tesla and Waymo are at the forefront of this. They're developing highly sophisticated systems that use sensors, AI, tons of data.
So these cars can actually perceive their surroundings and make decisions without a human driver.
Yep. And that's a massive feat of engineering and software development.
It is. It's still a little unnerving to see a car driving itself, you know?
I get it. I get it. It's a big change.
So you mentioned the technology being so complex. What are some of the challenges these systems face, especially in a real-world setting?
Oh, there are definitely challenges.
Mm.
One of the biggest is navigating unpredictable environments, like busy city streets. You've got pedestrians, cyclists, construction, all sorts of unexpected things happening.
Right. It's not just about following traffic rules.
Exactly. These systems have to analyze situations in real time, make split-second decisions, react to things that weren't programmed into them.
So the AI has to be incredibly advanced.
It does. And this raises a lot of questions about the ethics of AI, how we program these systems to make moral choices.
Like the classic trolley problem, right?
Exactly. Those kinds of ethical dilemmas become very real when you have machines making life or death decisions on the road.
It's heavy stuff, for sure.
It is. And think about the broader implications for society. If self-driving cars become the norm, it could change everything from how cities are designed to how we think about personal transportation.
Yeah, that's a whole other discussion we could have.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's switch gears completely and talk about something that always feels a little mysterious to me. Quantum computing.
Quantum computing, yeah.
Yeah.
It can seem a little mind-bending at first.
It really does. Every time I try to understand it, I feel like I'm entering a different dimension.
It's a different way of thinking about computing for sure. So traditional computers use bits, right? Zeros and ones.
Yeah, that's the basic language of computers.
Right. But quantum computers use qubits. And qubits can be a 0, a 1, or both at the same time.
Wait, both at the same time? How is that even possible?
It's because they leverage the principles of quantum mechanics, which is a whole other rabbit hole we could go down.
Okay, maybe we'll save that for another time.
But the key takeaway is that this both at the same time capability allows quantum computers to perform calculations in a fundamentally different way than classical computers.
Huh?
And this makes them exponentially faster for certain types of problems.
So it's not just about speed, it's a whole different approach to computation.
Exactly. And this has huge implications for fields like drug discovery, material science, cryptography.
Cryptography, you mean like codes and cybersecurity?
Exactly. Because quantum computers have the potential to break the encryption methods we use today.
So that's a major security concern.
It is, and it's driving a lot of research into developing new quantum-resistant cryptography.
Okay, so who are the major players in this quantum computing race?
Companies like IBM and Google are investing heavily in developing quantum computers.
And they're making progress.
They are. In fact, in 2019, Google's Sycamore quantum computer achieved what's called quantum supremacy.
Quantum supremacy, what does that mean?
It means that it solved a specific problem that would have taken a classical supercomputer thousands of years to solve, and it did it in about 200 seconds.
That's an insane difference in speed.
It is, and it was a major milestone in the development of quantum computing.
Okay, from the incredibly complex to something that sounds almost too good to be true, self-repairing materials.
Self-healing materials, they're pretty amazing.
So these are materials that can actually repair themselves, like our bodies do.
Exactly. They're inspired by biological processes, like how a cut on your skin heals.
So imagine a phone screen that could fix its own cracks.
Exactly. Or roads that could mend their own potholes. The applications are pretty mind-blowing.
No more cracked screens. That would be a game changer.
It would. And think about the impact on industries like construction and manufacturing.
So where might we see these self-repairing materials first?
Well, construction is a prime candidate. Self-healing concrete could revolutionize how we build buildings and infrastructure.
And of course, consumer electronics. Like you said, self-repairing screens and casings would be a huge selling point.
And it could lead to more durable, longer-lasting products, which is great for sustainability.
Yeah, less waste.
Absolutely.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. Let's touch on two technologies that are already part of our lives but are poised to become much more integrated. Augmented reality and virtual reality.
Yes, AR and VR. They've been around for a while, but they're really starting to take off.
They are, and I think most people associate them with gaming and entertainment, but their potential goes way beyond that.
Oh, absolutely. AR could change how we interact with the world around us. Imagine having digital information overlaid onto your real-time view, like directions popping up as you walk down the street.
Like a heads-up display for everyday life.
Exactly. And VR can create completely immersive digital environments. Think about the possibilities for education, healthcare, even real estate.
Yeah, like virtual tours of homes or historical sites.
Precisely. It's about moving beyond passive viewing to active experiencing, which can lead to much deeper understanding and engagement.
So how can someone who's listening to all this and feeling maybe a little overwhelmed by all the advancements, how can they stay on top of these trends?
That's a great question. First and foremost, stay curious. Read tech blogs, follow thought leaders on social media, join online communities focused on these topics.
So basically, don't be afraid to geek out a little bit.
Exactly. Immerse yourself in the world of tech. And don't just read about it, get hands-on.
Like try out a VR headset or play around with smart home devices.
Exactly. That hands-on experience will give you a much better understanding of how these technologies work in practice.
Okay, what else?
Well, networking is important too. Connect with other people who are passionate about these technologies, learn from their experiences, share your own insights.
So join online forums, attend meetups, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And be sure to develop your critical thinking skills. Don't just accept the hype. Think critically about the potential implications of these technologies, both positive and negative.
That's important. Don't just get swept up in the excitement.
Right. And lastly, invest in your own learning. There are so many online courses and workshops available these days that can give you a deeper dive into specific areas of technology.
So you mentioned some less conventional ways to engage with these technologies too, right?
Yes. Don't underestimate the power of science fiction. It can spark your imagination and get you thinking about the possibilities in ways you might not have considered before.
And you also mentioned DIY projects, right?
Yes. Platforms like Arduino and Raspberry Pi allow you to build your own gadgets and learn about the technology in a hands-on way. It's a fun and rewarding way to explore.
Definitely. Okay, as we wrap up, let's revisit some of the key figures and moments that highlight the significance of what we've discussed.
So going back to Elon Musk and Neuralink, their work is pushing the boundaries of what's possible in brain-computer interfaces.
They're really making some incredible progress.
They are. And then there's Google's achievement of quantum supremacy with their Sycamore quantum computer. That was a watershed moment in the field of quantum computing.
A real demonstration of the potential power of this technology.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned the singularity earlier. Can you remind us what that concept entails?
The singularity is a hypothetical point in the future where technological growth becomes so rapid and profound that it fundamentally alters human civilization.
So it's a point of no return, in a way.
In a way, yes. It's a concept that raises a lot of questions about the future of humanity and our relationship with technology.
Some pretty heady stuff to ponder.
It is.
So as we bring this deep dive to a close, what's the key takeaway you want listeners to leave with?
The future is being shaped right now by these incredible technologies. And by staying informed, engaged, and critically aware, we can all be active participants in shaping that future.
So this isn't just about observing the future, it's about being prepared for it. Well said. And on that note, here's a final thought for you to consider. Of all the technologies we've discussed today, which one excites you the most, and what kind of impact do you imagine it having on your own life or the world at large? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time.
See you then.